Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back, everybody. Sometimes our executive producers here say that we should name a podcast. A podcast should have a name. The name of this one is, What's the Story? What's the story? We all have a story. And I feel that when we hear other stories from others, that we can learn from that. However, you're telling yourself a story about yourself. Is that story true? It's very impactful and life-changing once you realize maybe that the story that's going around in your brain is not really true, and you're defeating yourself. And let's dig into that. She is an amazing certified life coach and a Clarity Catalyst instructor, and really focuses on mindset. We're definitely going to focus on that today. That's our story, and she's our professional of the year. Ghada Elias is back on the program with us. How you doing today?
I'm good. It's a tough day, but I'm dealing with it. Yes. So it's good.
We all have stories, don't we?
And you know what? My story, so I'm going to share my story with you. And we do. And sometimes our story is just a fiction of our mind. And sometimes our story is a true story, but it's how we tell it. So I want to tell my story today.
Sure.
But I want to say it in two different ways to show the difference in how we tell our story. And
you've been very transparent in these podcasts in terms of your life, what you got going on, your son, and all of that. So I appreciate this. And I have a feeling how this is going to go, where we're going to hear two different versions of a story and how that can be a game changer if you want to believe the story that you're telling yourself.
Yeah. If you want to believe that it's a tragedy or just life. Okay. So my story. I was born in Lebanon during the Lebanese War. I come from, I don't want to say poor, but my parents had enough to feed us, basically. I'm one of 10. I lived the war, and my mom passed away when I was 12. So I don't remember my mom much, which I wish she was still here. At the age of 16, we moved to the U.S., and back then there was no social media, so no one ever prepared us for what we were going into in this country, the culture shock. Back then, there was no social media, so we didn't know what it was living in the U.S. I went through depression, 5 years of depression. Hated living here, did not like it, wanted to move back to Lebanon, but I couldn't. So went to school, worked, then got married. Had 2 kids on the spectrum, not just 1, 2. Then I started living in the whatever it was. I had to figure out what it was that was going on with my kids, and therapy and autism and the whole thing. And I'll tell you, life was not easy. Then I got a divorce, and then became a single mom with still my son, and I still had to take him and deal with all the stuff that he does, from breaking his jaw. He broke his jaw one time on purpose. He swallowed magnets. We were in the hospital so many times, and believe me, he is not someone you want to be in the hospital with. And then I changed my career. I became a life coach, and now I'm home with my son. That's my story.
I don't want to say anything until I hear the other version of your story.
So I was born in Lebanon. Okay, I had a fun childhood. I was born by the beach. Yes, there was war and the bombing, all this stuff. But you know what? The coolest thing is that we didn't have to go a lot to school. Okay, so any day where there was bombs, schools were closed. We spent our times like playing cards. It was a fun childhood with everything. It was fun. My mom did die at 12, but you know what? I have so many good memories of her. And then we came to the US at 16. It was tough, but we got to like buy anything we want, things that we couldn't do in Lebanon, like all the food and the clothes. So it was a different life. I got to drive. I bought a car. I went to college. I worked. And then I got married. Yes, my kids were tough. Not saying anything. I'm not degrading autism. Do you know what? It was everything that my son did was so like, it was a story for me to tell and to joke about and to laugh. And then I got a divorce. It was good. Sometimes marriage is not okay. So you do have to get a divorce. And now I'm writing a book about my son and how he broke his jaw, okay? And how we ended up in the hospital and his teeth and how he swallowed the magnets and all the destructions that he did and how he hid my keys in the wall. There's so many things that he did. It's just amazing. And now I travel. I became a life coach. And my faith is so much stronger. And I learned to choose how to talk, but I am blessed with a funny, like a joyful personality. That's my story.
Wow.
And that's how I tell my story always.
Is it?
Yeah. Always. Everybody knows. I'm like the one that I can tell. I can take anything that's tragedy and turn it into, look what happened. Like, that's so cool.
Now, lots of questions, and I appreciate your transparency as always on all of this. Do you believe your story? That's to get my first question. The second version, and do you feel? And this is we're going deep here. We're going very deep here. I know you're looking for the positive, and I love it. And I'll get to my picture in a moment of all of this too. But is it you now? Is it truly you? Your second story.
My second story has always been me. Now, I'm not saying that I did not vent. I do vent. Yes, I do. Like yesterday was a bad day. I went to my friend. I was like, I am so tired. I'm overwhelmed. I'm exhausted. I do vent. I do let it out. But that's just part of us. We're feelings. And it's not, and feelings are okay. They're not bad. They're not good. They're just feelings. You just have to go through them. But then at a certain point, you need to lift yourself up. And I did go through feelings, and it's all true. Like from my childhood until today, this is all true. But it's me. The way I tell my story, the second part is me. That's how everybody sees me. That's how I tell it. That's how I talk about my son. That's how I talk about myself. It just, I don't want to, I choose not to be a miserable person.
You said the word choose.
Yeah, I choose because it's a choice.
It's a choice.
Yeah, and the way we talk, it's for like, it applies for everybody, whether you're a kid, a teenager, an adult, someone my age, 51, older than me, a man, a male, female, it doesn't matter. You choose how you talk, you choose how you feel. And when you change yourself to that, maybe around you doesn't change, but you change how you see the people around you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can't change anybody. You can change yourself, but that doesn't mean, sometimes they say if you change yourself, everything will change around you. Yes, true. Maybe things will change because people will see you differently, or maybe people will stay the same, but your view of them will change.
Yes. They're not going to change.
No,
most likely
changes.
they're not going to change,
no,
and nor should they. That's them.
No,
it's not our job to change them. You know, some people enter a relationship thinking, I can help them. I can change them. No.
Don't do that.
It's their choice to do what they're doing. And so many times we can be faced with bad news. And yes, it's horrible sometimes. It's like, whoa. But you, and sometimes we don't have a choice in that, but you always, 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 always have a choice in the way that you're going to deal with it and look at it. You just do. And it's hard to realize that. And sometimes it's hard to get over that speed bump. Now, I could say it's a mountain, but it's a speed bump to realize it. Mm-hmm. But which would you rather do? Choose to be angry and miserable and just, negative, or look at the positive of that situation? And I know it's hard to, and I didn't drink the Kool-Aid, by the way. I really mean this. It's not like I've been mind controlled, because there are people saying, yeah, come on, you guys, the two of you are putting the rose-colored glasses on and you're just, looking that way. No, we're realists. Yeah, we can see there's, some things are a little more challenging, but there's always a positive side to it. And I think most importantly, when you choose positivity, more positivity is going to happen. That's, I think, a game changer right there.
But choosing positive is so hard.
Oh, yes.
It's so easy to be negative, to stress, to be angry, to have all these negative feelings. It's easier. It's easier. It takes a lot of effort to turn things around. Okay, today, I have to say, I'm still not okay until today. So I just sat down and I started writing. And I kept on writing and writing until, I feel like everything now is on paper and it's out of me. So I have a way to let things out of me. It's either I talk to my friends or I journal.
Mm. Can we talk about that for a minute?
Sure.
Journal. Okay. So, and I'm sure others have dealt with this too, but I started journaling. I'm embarrassed to say that I haven't done it because everybody says to do it. And I've waited. So I started journaling probably October.
Okay.
And in the beginning, I wrote a lot and, feeling based and also facts. This is what happened. This is how I'm feeling. I find myself now writing less, but also, I'm trying to explain this. Also, I don't even want to hear me anymore sometimes. It's like you're really talking to yourself. So you have that friend that can sometimes, dump on you. Oh my God, they're going on. You're not going to believe it. And you support them as best you can. Sometimes I feel I'm that person to myself when I journal, but maybe it's because I'm not journaling more positive stuff. Maybe I'm looking at negative things because my mind is like, well, that's why I'm doing this, to journal. But maybe, I should look at it more in a positive way. What are your thoughts overall?
I think journaling is different for everyone. So I'll share what I do. Okay, I have 4 journals. One is where I write about my faith, like anything that has to do with faith and my prayers and anything that I hear. One is intuition.
You have a journal just for intuition?
Yes. Yeah. Cool. I write things like it's so funny. I was at the doctor's office with my son, and there's this tank and this fish that's going back and forth. So I wrote about the fish, a story about this fish that keeps on. It's just like a person that's going, hitting the glass, then going back. And if she really realizes that there's no way out, she is so stuck in this tank. It's just things and ideas that come to my mind. Yeah. I get these things at night or in the morning when I first wake up, like things that I write about. I have one about like stories of when I travel and like mistakes I make and how fun they are and what happened to me. And the last one, I don't remember what I have. Like, I know I have 4 journals, but each one for different things. Journaling is not about just how you feel about yourself. It can be about anything. You can write about anything. Can I read you something that I wrote right now, like before? It's nothing. It's really nothing. It's just that it came to my mind. I wanted to write, so sure. I started writing. I'm here on purpose. I'm not a mistake. I'm not by coincidence. I am on earth for a reason. And then I kept going and going and going.
Wow. Now, which journal would you put that one in?
The intuition one or the faith one. Because God has me here for a purpose. I don't know what it is. Maybe one day. I don't know.
Well, things download in my mind connected to music because I play music on the radio, have for forever. And there's a song that whenever that pops in my head and that thought, it's called, and it wasn't a hit. It's by an artist that has since passed. He had hits. So this was not one of them, but it's a good song. Dan Fogelberg is the artist. He was big in the 70s, and the song is called Part of the Plan. And just what you said, I've referred back to the lyrics. And part of it, I'm going to paraphrase here. One day I'm feeling all holy and humble. The next day I'm ready to crumble. A message comes through and basically moves you forward. And it's all part of the plan. And one day we'll all understand. One day we'll all understand. Just what you said. Maybe, will we? I don't know, but maybe we will. But that's kind of what that song talks about. It's not a religious song. It's just a, belief in that there are no coincidences and this is happening.
Oh, that's us being here. I don't believe in coincidences.
Mm-hmm.
Coincidences. It's, people come into your life for a purpose.
Yeah.
And, you just have to figure things out, or maybe not figure things out. Just live life and choose.
I could, and it's not for today, but even in the last week, if I told you in a major situation in my life, if I told you the pieces that have come together and how they're connected to other things, your head would spin because mine is spinning, and I'm just sitting there waiting to see what unfolds.
Yeah.
But I will say this, and this is the choice, right? I could worry about certain things. I'm not.
It doesn't help, I'll tell you. I mean, we do worry. It's not like we don't worry. But it's there. But we don't let it control our life. We don't let it just suck us in. Same thing for my kids. 2 kids on the spectrum. I never thought my son would talk. I never imagined that my daughter would go to college. If you knew them back then, never.
Wow.
Yeah,
were you worried?
I don't think I had. My story is different than other parents' story, the way my life started with my kids. But I didn't have time to worry. It was just like I was given all these issues, and I'm a fighter. So I just refused. I refused to compare my kids to other kids. It came to my mind, but then I brushed it off. I cannot do that to myself. And every time I worry, I would go back to my faith. My faith is the rock of my life. It's the rock. Faith is my prayers. That's how I live my life. Because I believe that things will fall into place and doors will open, even when it seems they're not going to open. They do open. I truly believe in that. And I'm not saying that. I have a life to prove that.
What do you say to people? Well, okay, let's center on faith. And yes. It sounds like faith is connected to religion in what you're describing. And faith
it is.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
No, it is. I just I don't use the word religion because they all have their own sect. I mean, I'm Catholic as a religion, but my faith is my faith. I don't know how else to describe it.
What do you say to people? And I think it's wonderful that you feel that way. What do you say to people that say, I want to have that kind of faith, but I don't. I try to, but it just doesn't happen for me. What do you tell them? What would you say to somebody?
in the midst of you feeling is not happening, it's truly happening. That's faith. It's even when we see that it's not happening, because a lot of times what we want doesn't come to us, but something else happens that if we look at it, we're like, yeah, that was the right thing for us, not what we wanted. Because usually what we want from faith is what we are asking for. Correct?
Correct.
Yes. And when we don't get that, we say, well, it's not working. But if you wait a little bit and be patient and let time unfold things for you, you'll see that something better. You just have to, faith and trust come together. You can't have faith and not have trust. You've got to trust. That's hard. That is the hardest thing.
Well, yes. And number one, faith in yourself, until you really have that. But I think you only have faith in yourself until you go through moments of adversity. Yes. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, I did that. Oh, I did that. Oh, I did. And that each one, another speed bump, each one is easier to drive over. But what you're saying, I've heard many people say, and I've said it myself, we call it the universe. So if you want to insert God, that's your choice. But you can say, the universe, that's not right for me now. The universe doesn't want that. It knows best, even though we think we know best, but we don't. And it's also on the universe's time. You have to, wait. It's like because there's a reason, but we don't know the reason, so we get impatient in all of that. So yeah, either way, whether you want to connect it to God or whatever, that's that whatever
that's your choice.
Yeah,
it's your choice. Yeah.
Do you, when you look back at all of this, and obviously you're a strong woman. You've gone through a lot. You've got a lot of resilience. But I'm going to guess, you didn't have that a number of years ago. It's because you did life and you just kept getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah. It's because I did life. Yeah. And you know what? Everything in life moves you closer to that. Like me coming here at the age of 16, it made me stronger. Every single thing that happens in life makes you stronger. But I think having kids with special needs, that was like the biggest thing. It didn't just make me stronger. It strengthened my faith. And it just got me to look at life in a different way. And I am someone that, and I tell my daughter also, and I'm going to bring that up. I don't know if it's in my subject or not. Death. I tell her, like, death is part of life. I am going to die one day. So I am teaching you to be strong in life. So if something happens to me, you can stand on your feet. Yeah. That's a subject not too many people like to talk about, but it's a fact of life.
It is. It is. And also teaching that strength and resilience.
Yes.
Because I wish I had it. I wish I had it decades ago. I wasn't ready for it, apparently. But my life may have moved a little faster, moved in different directions, realized certain things because I had that strength. Wasn't time, apparently. And I believe, it's only been in the past 5 years where, where I can turn and say, oh, you actually have this now. You're good. Yeah. You can rely on you, meaning me. Same thing for everybody. And there's even been times, even in the last year, where I'm like, I just want to go it alone because I appreciate everybody's support. I got it. We're good. Because I know I'll get it done. I'll move it forward. Not going to worry about it. But it's kind of a good feeling, though, isn't it? When you know that I got this. Yes, it's not easy. Yes, things come up. I won't use any of those words, but it's like, really, but it's kind of a nice feeling, though, that you've got you.
Yeah, it's you always need friends. You always need someone to support you. You always need someone there for you.
Totally.
Because we're people. We have feelings. We have emotions. but you can stand on your feet.
Yes. Yes. And the recovery time is way faster.
It's less.
So,
oh my gosh.
So when something shows up,
Yeah.
I'm not making fun of anybody or any situation, but in the beginning you're like, well, how can this happen? Like, why me? Well, if you didn't master the resilience and the faith and everything, it could take you a couple of weeks, whereby that situation comes up.
Whatever.
A day or two later, it's like, oh yeah, I was crying the other day. I was like, we're good.
Yeah, that's it. It shortens that time of recovery. That's about it.
Yeah.
You're still gonna happen to you where this is life.
Yep.
Yeah. But you don't go down a hill.
Nope.
No.
And you know you're going to be okay. But, we need, like you just said at the very beginning, Ghada, that you need to let it out.
Yeah.
You can't. If you don't, that's bad too, because you're just carrying inside. This is just part of what you offer. I'm glad we did this today. Hearing your story, your two stories, wow, what a difference. And your second story, you were beaming with love and joy. Tough stuff. I get it. But I could feel it. And that's even why I had to ask. Is that really you? Come on, be honest.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. It's all in how you look at it. But it's not easy to figure that out. Takes time and takes support from people like you. SavorYourSeasons.com is the website. Go there, start the conversation. Tell your story.
Tell your story.
Tell your story. I love hearing people's stories. I really do. I learn. Like, just from you today, I learned. Like little pieces you pick up. And we all have a story. It's how you tell a story to yourself that makes the difference. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful, these podcasts, especially today, just learning about this process. And you're there to support anybody, no matter what their story is. SavorYourSeasons.com. Something tells me, and going with the intuition thing, that we'll connect again in the future. And even there, I have two journals. So one is just the average journal. Cool. The other one's the gratitude journal. I think I'm going to change it up.
Yeah, see, trust yourself, trust your intuitions, trust your feelings, trust whatever it is, write it. Yesterday I sat down and I read things that I wrote in 2017 and I'm like, wow, cool.
That's the other part. You get to look back and see your progress. Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't have to journal every day. That's the thing. People think they have to journal every day. No, it just comes to you.
Yep.
Write it.
Yep.
And
you're feeling it.
When you're feeling it, that's it. Thank you.
We're out of time. Thank you so much for today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay.
We'll talk soon. We'll be right back.
Yep. Bye.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Of course my kid's in the right car seat. Well, I think he is.
Yeah, my kid's in a booster seat. He was ready to move up. He is ready, right?
Her car seat looks like the right size.
There are probably rules on when to move up to a booster seat, aren't there?
Rear facing, forward facing? I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the right seat.
I know my child's in the right car seat, or else I wouldn't get in the driver's seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.